old business. Starting with, well, I guess let's deal with 21 Parsonage Street. Now, I asked the same question that you had asked, why is it still there? And Jeff explained to me that it was approved conditionally. And if we're finished with the documentation, is that the case?
Yeah, I mean, I noted in the presentation that it's, it's not as precise as it would need to be. For, I mean, I'm not sure how useful it is. It's something, so it's of the spirit. But I just want you all to feel, I mean, I guess we were the ones most concerned, but feel comfortable with what was presented. So you've seen it and you don't see anything that's like,
I think you
That
got
issue.
Right. So the question I have, Jeff, is that do we have any mechanism for archiving things like this? And we've had a couple of buildings which have been demolished and have been documented, but I don't know if where that documentation is and where it should be.
Everything up through 2017 has been digitized. So everything's available online. Since then, everything's in paper files. We have them in a small conference room.
Okay, well, I guess the question I have is that if we set up a separate folder or an archive folder for documentation of buildings that are being demolished, is there any problem with the village retaining that?
No, that would go into in this case, the HDRB file for a specific address or specific property, and it lived there.
Okay,
And eternity. Those files we cannot get rid of. I mean, those are files that are kept in perpetuity.
right, okay.
So that just needs to be added to.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that, as far as the documentation goes, does anybody want to volunteer to put together a package? In other words, we have a lot of documents and it just needs to be assembled into a package, which I would assume it also has the C of A material so that it can be put into this archive folder.
yeah, I think the Google Drive currently has photos and the PDF of the drawing, so that's easy enough to
Just
pass
put it all.
pass along. Yeah,
Yeah,
and then the other documents, I'm not sure where those would be, but if yeah, if you have those or.
Okay.
from years ago or?
I think, I know I saw the copy of the drawings that you prepared. And I know the photographs are on the folder, so, okay, I will take care of assembling the archive folder for that. All right, Jeff, so I'll be sending that over sometime next week.
Okay.
Okay. Five Market Street. Yeah,
Hello.
come on down. All right. Now, I know a couple of people went to visit the structure.
We did.
Extra quickly from the.
Oh, okay.
There's a bit of a.
More clarity.
The actual photo.
And this is what is facing the the public right away, right?
No, that one there.
This one,
Yeah.
that one.
This right in there.
So that is what's facing Reach. So we determined that the buttons are applied, just sort of a snap-in button that can be removed.
Do we want them removed?
I think so. That was what my main problem with with it was really, was just kind of the fakey-ness of the fake divided lights. I thought it would look better. Just single lights.
So it would be two stacked double hungs and then this.
Yeah. And the transom.
So what do you think, Kate?
That sounded right to me, that if they're not sort of doing anything, that it could be cleaner without. There's a lot of movement in here. And then I think seeing the orientation was, understanding the orientation on site was helpful, and the location was helpful. The view to the structure, you see the back of the wine bar primarily sort of framing the structure, and that honestly needs some work itself. I think this would be relatively diminutive, in comparison.
Any thoughts, Lauren?
I'm personally okay with the divided lights because it sort of recalls greenhouses. It's not ever gonna get an up close inspection by any viewer. I mean, but I'm happy to go with whatever the majority.
All right, so Todd, do you wanna offer up a motion?
Yeah, I would make a motion to approve the application on the condition that the fake muttons are removed from these single pane windows.
I have a second.
I think that,
Okay. All right, so we have a motion for to approve on the condition that the muttons are, the supplied muttons are in fact removed. Do I have all of,
You wanna add, we add these,
well, are they, were these submitted on the website?
No,
no, they're just
Correct.
clearer,
The-
kind of
what I
more.
submitted was the manual for installation, which wasn't very big, but.
Okay, if you can submit them or send them to me, I can then process the whole thing electronically. Let me have that. Okay. Process them, but all right. So calling for a vote on the motion. Lauren,
Yeah.
Aye.
aye, and aye. Four zero.
Thank you very much.
Damn, you got it.
when are you gonna grow?
Spiders? And whatever else, I'll see what happens. So, it's good. I'm very. Thank you.
All right. Yeah.
Next up is another greenhouse.
Okay, next application is for Morris Avenue.
I didn't realize we got.
Okay. We have another greenhouse. Do you have anybody here?
Max
Max is.
is online. If you want to.
Hi,
Hello.
Okay, so we have. It's a prefabricated greenhouse, right? Am I correct?
yeah, it's just a kit.
Okay. And it's in the corner. See that? On the second part of the, part of the, or the second photograph, is that your house in the background?
I'm not sure what the second photograph is. I don't have that in front of me.
An art studio, on Main Street, yeah,
Their backyard.
yeah.
That's from the walkway going up. This view is walking up
Oh, here.
this walkway. Yeah.
This is the walking which way.
Walking up
Here,
this
so
way.
the library's there and it's the path. of the
Oh,
library
okay,
to the
okay, so this
right
is
of the
the Butterfield Library is over here,
Mhm.
okay.
Almost, this photo's
Um,
almost taken from the side door of the library.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's the, they built the second floor on, the barn.
Oh, that was before my time, but,
Okay.
so I see.
Do I have any questions from the board concerning the structure?
The project narrative explains as a cedar greenhouse, so it's all of the exposed wood is cedar,
Yes,
okay? And then is it clear glass making up the rest?
I believe it's polycarbonate, but yeah, it's sort of frosted. You can't see right through it, but it's
It's sort of what?
Frosted.
Frosted. But it's glass.
No, poly, it's like acrylic, right?
Mhm.
Polycarbonate,
Mhm.
let's see.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? Right, do I have a motion on this application?
I motion to approve the application, so given what we just approved before, Yeah.
As submitted,
as submitted, yeah.
do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Max, it's approved.
Thank
got
you.
it.
Have to show your face. Yeah, it's actually kind of a. nice looking-
Okay,
nice looking little greenhouse there.
good.
You can only have
Cedar
one.
Okay, 8 Stone Street.
That's the first time I've
When?
seen these
Lager.
two, where I've never been in 4 years, yeah. Did you get a lot, have you gotten a lot of greenhouse requests? Like in your, yeah, this is sort of funny that
Yeah.
we've gotten two and. Yeah,
All of a sudden, a new,
it's a new thing.
okay,
Which is wonderful.
Yeah.
8 Stone Street.
Yeah, Brent here. Hey guys, how you doing?
Hi.
Okay, replace and extend existing porch steps. Now, if I remember, this is kind of,
But his sister houses.
okay. Oh. Jeff, can you, do you have access to the, what's on the website? It just, when I took a look at it, it looked like all of the supporting material was washed out. It's kind of hard to read.
Yeah.
Then after this, there's a, yeah, that, and the next one down. Okay,
Yeah, that's a
all
little.
right, that's good,
Yeah.
that's, all right, do I have a motion concerning, or first of all, do I have,
Whoa.
do I have any questions?
Tonight.
Yeah, do I have any questions concerning the application?
I just wanna make sure I completely understand the drawing and that, are these treads two separate pieces of wood, or are they one continuous piece of wood?
There are two separate pieces of wood.
There's like a space in between.
Yeah, a very small space. What I was hoping to do is to, are you familiar with just regular cedar decking? It's like purchasable at Lowe's, not at Home Depot. But it's it's cedar and it has a little bit of a beveled edge. I'm gonna rip the beveled edge off of one side of it so that it kind of fits together a little tighter in the middle. So at the front of it'll be a little bit like a round nose a bit, but the rest of it would be pretty much flat like a regular step.
So it's not the space, the reason to use two pieces of wood is not for drainage in the middle or anything like that. It's just for buying prefabricated materials kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, mainly because the material is readily available. I think it also probably would help with drainage, actually. So that's a side benefit.
And then all of the sheets about pressure treated is just for the framing?
Yeah, you don't see any of that. It's just, you know, whatever, like the stringers and stuff like that, that's the supporting structure.
And you said the nosing, that will be rounded. The drawing, I know is more diagrammatic, but.
Yeah, not fully rounded. It's like a kind of like a bit of a rounded, like a 1/4 inch round on the top and bottom, but it's a little flat on the front. Just like a regular, if you've seen like just regular run-of-the-mill decking, like it's gonna use that. I'm just gonna modify the middle by taking those two edges off to kind of make it not so rounded in that middle area.
Maybe not fully bull nose. It's a little bit.
Sort of a countertop almost.
Yeah,
Well,
right,
Yeah,
yeah.
knocked off, yeah. And this is just the stairs, right? Because it looks like the framing of the porch and in that drawing was sort of outlined and redrawn and then possibly a stand, like the
Yeah,
roof.
the reason I included that because it's actually the flooring on the porch itself as well would be also replaced and made out of that same material, just the cedar decking. It's all rotting on our porch, so I just need to replace it. And we figured cedar would be the most historically accurate material that we could find. But yeah, it would just be the treads, and the flooring as well, that is like, you know, where you just walk up to the front door there, but that's it, not the like side rail and stuff like that.
So with this side rail, I think if the drop is more than 30 inches, a side rail and railing on the steps is required by code.
Is it? Right, it's either 30 or 42, I don't recall. I know the height of the guardrail is supposed to be 42, but for individual residential, there is, you're allowed to have something a little bit lower.
Okay. Is there in the future, a railing on the steps or on the left side of the porch?
Well, actually, I mean, you raise a good point because I would think that I think it's anything more than 2 risers, you're supposed to have a handrail.
or more than-
And
Yeah,
And certainly, this is wide enough, you'd really need to have a handrail on either side.
Yeah, I mean, the current one doesn't have that. I could build that as well. That isn't currently on our porch.
All right,
Is that a
well, we
building
can do it
permit,
either one of 2 ways.
yeah, that sounds good.
Because whether or not you have a handrail is really not our purview. So we can approve, if board agrees, we can approve the stairs as they are. And then if you have to install a handrail, you have to come back for another meeting,
Okay, that makes sense.
right? Okay, so, do I have a motion concerning the application as presented?
I'll make a motion to accept the application as presented.
Second? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, so, it's approved, but you're just, warned that if you have to do a handrail, you need to come back to us for the handrails.
Will do.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, right? Payback for
I was
the
gonna
3-hour
say,
meeting
yeah.
last time.
We'll level
Okay.
out, right?
Okay. So now, the Westchester Modular Homes.
Good evening. I'm here on Zoom.
Okay.
Hi,
Hello there.
Can you describe what you want to do and or
Certainly.
what you're supposed to do?
Certainly. I can share the screen.
I'll make you a co-host and you can share.
While you're doing that, I'll give you a little bit too. Name is Michael Berta. I'm architect for Westchester Modular, helping them out through the process here.
You should be good to go, Michael.
What they have is an existing house with over the garage that had a fire some time ago, and they're looking to rebuild the house the most cost-effective way they can, given what the insurance company has allotted them. So what we're doing is reusing the existing foundation and then putting a modular home on top of it.
Okay.
yeah.
This is what was said.
Yeah.
and it's just down.
Yeah. I think, not sure if you
So
can see
you-
my screen now.
You're gonna demolish the existing structure that is there right now,
Correct.
and you're gonna build a new modular building as is shown on the drawings, and you're gonna add a foundation for the garage projecting in the front, right?
That is correct. And then in the rear, we're gonna be adding a new wood deck. And then there'll obviously be an entry porch as we're showing on the elevation here. You see, we'll have a new entry porch here.
Okay. The garage doors, are they swing doors or are they roll-up doors?
No, it's a overhead, it's an overhead door by Rayner, which is made to look like an old style barn door.
All right, but is it a roll-up door?
Yes, it's a roll-up.
So the page we're looking at now compared to the next page show two different front elevations.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, that's the modular version, the modular home drawing version. And it's, they, for whatever reason, they don't draw very well. So what they're building is what's on my drawing here.
The first one.
The
First one,
pre-one
correct.
page with your,
Okay.
your title.
Yeah, the drawing with on my title block. That's what they will be building.
All right, so we've got vinyl siding,
Correct.
fiberglass columns, vinyl cover board at the corner boards,
Vinyl freeze board, aluminum rake board, vinyl windows.
Well, the windows are actually, they're gonna be an Anderson window.
windows what?
The windows are Anderson.
Is that an aluminum clad?
It's Fibrix. It's not quite a vinyl window, but it's not an aluminum window. It's one of those mystery materials that they make.
Yeah.
But they're gonna be black.
I have not been on the board, nor have these two for a new build, so I know this is
I feel like this is-
a bit of it.
There's like.
More complicated. Yeah,
Well, the issue is, according to our guidelines, if I am not mistaken. We're not allowing any vinyl siding. And the windows are Anderson, but they're clad windows, right?
I'm sorry, say that again. The windows are Anderson, but
You said that the windows are Anderson windows, right?
correct,
So they're wood windows, but they're clad.
correct.
And are they clad with vinyl or are they
Yeah,
clad?
for all intents and purposes, yeah, the Fibrex is a vinyl.
Okay,
It's a vinyl composite.
Exactly.
and you've got fiberglass columns, aluminum covered rakes, on the roof. What's the roofing material?
Asphalt. Asphalt shingles.
Sorry.
Asphalt shingle.
Asphalt shingle.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah, excuse me, that's why I'm not there tonight. I'm a little under the weather.
No problem.
um. It seems like, a lot of what you're proposing is not allowed under, as far as what our guidelines or the design guidelines allow for.
I will say, I walked around the neighborhood a bit over the weekend, Kate and I, when we were looking at something else, sort of discussed it just kind of briefly in what the neighborhood looks like and what the housing kind of the makeup architecturally, and it is quite sort of, there's a lot going on there. On Kemble, you have your worker housing on one end of the street, kind of going into some ranches and some mid-centuries and some moderns, and so it sort of is right in the middle there. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and the property that it's directly adjacent to obviously has been substantially altered as well. Covered and extended and added on and all sorts of things. So I guess in relation to all of that, I don't have huge issues with basically the general composition of the building. The gable roof and, 3 double hung windows with a garage and a front entry facing the street. I think like Al said, it's sort of the materiality of it across the board is not in line with our design standards. So yeah, anybody?
The one, and this is, I would have to do my research, but I know that, across the river for, architectural designs, you can't have a garage on the front of the house. It always has to be in the side or in the rear, and I'm not sure if that's something, it is a code thing, yeah. And so I'm not sure in this context, I mean, obviously the property as it exists was not that, although it does read as if it was a garage to a neighboring house.
Well, a lot of the period houses, the garages were separate or were a separate structure because it used to be stables.
Mhm.
But I think if you look around in our village, you'll see a lot of instances where garages, the more modern houses, the garages are incorporated as we embraced the automobile.
The new houses at Butterfield also have the garages facing the front of the street. So.
And on the front facade, not on the side.
Well, they're like, yeah, over here. Is that what you mean by?
Side yard versus front yard.
Okay, okay. Oh, so you mean specifically like within the front footprint of the house is not, oh, okay, okay.
Well, given, if I can, I mean, given this lot size, to have the garage anywhere else would almost be impossible. And if I just put up a picture of what the house looked like prior to the fire, And you can see that there were actually two garages there. And we're just, replacing it with only one.
Look, that and also, this whole structure is set back, but I mean, the issue of the materials that are being used really bothers me. That and also the right elevation looks strange. It looks like, why are there no windows on that side? On the second floor?
We have four.
Let me get to the plans here for a second. Here are the,
It's just
you're
bedrooms.
talking about this side over, the right side there.
Right, it is bedroom.
So there are, if you look at it, there are windows on the first floor, but not up on the second floor.
Right.
So, again, it's a small house and, we have to think about furniture placement and just the room itself. So the bedroom in the front has two windows facing the street and nothing on the side. And the back bedroom has a window facing the rear and again, nothing on the right side. That's most likely where the bed will go.
Do you have enough,
Light and ventilation, yes,
light for the bedrooms?
yes.
I mean, bedroom only have, oh, no, oh, I see that.
One window.
Well, no, second bedroom has another one, which is right at the
Oh,
entrance.
yeah.
And then you have a window into a closet. Because,
Right, yeah, you need 8% natural light and 4% natural ventilation. And it makes it, it's close, but it makes it.
I mean, just in terms of our standards, there's so many different components drawn from so many different architectural
Yep.
periods. of Building that it's really
Yep.
hard. I mean, there's like a mid-century sliding door
Mhm.
with a early 20th century-esque posts and railing and 4/4. It's like a I don't know, is this something
Right, or
that works
80
out
over
with
80.
people or
well, I mean, the fact that, it's a replacement building, I don't especially, like some of the things I'm seeing, but, I guess my question is that,
I know they had a fire in their house. and it
Yeah.
sucks. They want to get back in their house.
The way that the current or previous house prior to the fire reads, it does read as a two-car garage with an apartment.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
And
Yeah, here,
so-
here's a picture of the existing before the fire.
And that is a separate lot, like a separate building
Yes.
lot than the house next door. Yeah.
Correct.
yeah. Yeah, look at the site plan, see,
Mhm.
Yeah, and believe it or not, we meet all the setback requirements, which I was very surprised on. I'll be honest with you.
Right. Yeah, my read is that when this building was put up, it was intended to be a garage with an apartment above. It wasn't built as a home. And so when we're considering rebuilding it as a residence, I'm questioning if some of the standards that we're looking for, we should
well,
aim to achieve.
Yeah.
it's a separate lot. And so, it may have been built as an accessory structure to something else, but now it's on its own lot. So theoretically,
I think I'm just saying if it is built as a residence,
Yeah.
which is great, I think that's great, if it's built as a residence, it should read fully as a residence and be.
as
sort of
opposed to,
consistent.
Yeah,
an apartment above a garage.
but also be more consistent with what our guidelines are, especially given the fact that it's sort of this is the one time, you know. This is happening once, and given how much, especially up at Butterfield, those
Yeah, there are
houses
some new
went through the
houses, but-
design, hurdles, jumped hurdles, that I don't think it's, fair to, you know. I think we have to take our standards into consideration wholly.
If I may, I mean, the vinyl siding that we're using, it actually is consistent with what's, the houses around it.
So my-
You do have the brick house to the left of this. And across the street, you have the block house, but other than that, all the other houses, especially the one to the immediate to the right of it, is vinyl siding.
Not surprised to hear that. I think prior to the HDRB, there was a lot of vinyl siding and as we move
okay.
forward, it's not allowed. Yeah.
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 We are approving, paintable composite sidings, which are fairly common.
Mhm.
I mean, very common these days. So as an alternative to vinyl, obviously, you achieve that similar look with the composite siding, plank siding.
Correct. The only thing I will say in, my client's defense, what you're talking about, the fiber cement siding or even some of the other composites, the ash siding and that, they're 2 to 3 times the cost of the vinyl, and they're working with a very limited budget because of, the fire and what the insurance company is giving them. So they're trying to do this on a shoestring.
Yeah,
But I understand I understand
While we
the guidelines, and I just point that out.
While we understand that there is a cost implication, ultimately, we shouldn't be taking that into consideration
Agreed.
in doing and that's because realistically, if we approve the vinyl siding, it becomes a precedent for somebody else to then ask for vinyl siding also. And so
Understood.
now, the question is why would your situation justify giving you an exception to what our design guidelines call for?
I understand. I understand. I understand the guidelines, and, if we, if the board seem, we will, certainly follow the guidelines.
I see a number of things that I have a problem with. I mean, just from a layout, I can see why the 3 windows are installed on the front facade. But when you look at the plan, it seems 2 of those windows are really pointless. One is right at the entrance to the closet, and one is in the closet. So I'm not totally sure the logic of that. When you have this whole bedroom, and it seems like the windows on the right elevation desperately calls for 2 windows.
Yeah, I think, I mean, the front facade might look even stranger without 3 windows.
Well-
I think, I don't think we should be thinking about the layout of the rooms and whether or not it makes sense. to have a
Well,
window in the
I'm
closet.
thinking about,
Yeah, no, I agree with you here, and I agree with you when you consider the inside layout and the fact that that's in a closet, it's a little bit confusing, but I think, as far as what the front facade looks like, I think it needs 3 windows in the front.
well, I don't think it needs 3 windows. You can have, maybe 2 windows, or there is some version of that can be changed, but I have a problem with the fact that the right elevation is just blank.
I agree.
Except for
The
the
right
first
elevation
floor.
is-
Um,
But again, just talking about the front elevation, if you have a problem with 3 windows, that's a different question. But if you don't have a problem with 3 windows, then we shouldn't be talking about the layout of the space on the inside.
I
You
disagree.
know, are you guys concerned with the right side elevation not having any windows because somebody could see it from the street?
We're trying to, this is a brand new building.
Hmm.
And so, everything is up for, a decision. And, realistically, the way that the house is situated, all the elevations, except for maybe the back elevation, are gonna be relatively visible. And so I have a problem with the right elevation. Now, I mean, if you add windows there and you wanna keep the ones up front, fine. But I mean, I think that you should really take another look at that.
Well, I mean, this is the floor plan and design that the owners have wanted based on their use of it. I mean, I understand what you're saying. You know, but you're talking about an elevation that's 40 some odd feet back from the road. And a very tight lot between the 2 houses. I'm not sure it's gonna be as visually impacting as the left side would be. I agree, you know, because of the openness on the left, you know, that's gonna be very, very visual. The right, you know,
I think Lauren's sort of larger question that she brought up about sort of the fusing of different historical styles is a concern that I have as well, that I think does need to get addressed, having, you know, 8/8 windows, garage doors that present as barn doors that are fold up doors,
Portico.
the portico, right?
It needs to be.
I'm sorry, I missed your first statement on that. Your concern, I'm sorry, I missed it.
There's
This is
some-
a modular home, right? This is not something you can play with, right?
That's a big concern.
No, I disagree.
Yeah,
Well, I'm
I
asking.
think it can be.
It can be.
Yeah, I think it, yeah.
I think
Well, there are
that,
definitely certain things we can adjust. I mean, that's, there is some adjustment. So, but I didn't, I'm sorry, I was missing your concern there.
the
Um,
concern is that there's some conflicting architectural styles. The 8/8 windows, the barn door that reads as historic but is fold up, the portico. So I don't know, again, I'm relatively new to this board, but a few folks have sort of questioned if a workshop might be useful at this point. Does that make?
I don't understand what you mean by conflicting elements, because, you know, it's a colonial style house with a barn style door on it, so, you know, if it's the barn door, the garage door, that's, you know, we could always change the style of the door, but the 8/8 goes with the style of the house as well as, you know, the front porch and the columns. So I guess I'm not understanding what you see as conflicting. Is it
We would- if we
certain
just
elements that are
look at the
conflicting with
barn
others, or is it
doors
the whole thing in general?
So if we look at the barn doors alone, I think it's odd that they're purporting to be historic doors when it's a fold up. But I also do want to consider the context and the surrounding homes. So I'm not sure on the best path forward, but I feel like there are a number of things that we're all needing to consider further or revisit.
Well, I think that one of the things which I always have a problem with is when something is made out to look like something else. And so I would rather that the garage doors be paneled roll-up doors rather than something that tries to look like swing doors. Let me ask you a question. What's the material of the porch?
Oh, it's wood.
That's wood. But the
Fiberglass.
columns are fiberglass.
Correct.
Okay, how about the framing of the portico?
Everything's being done out of wood. I mean,
Okay, how about-
the floor joists and that, you know, the floor joist will be pressure treated, obviously. But it'll have a wood deck on it. It'll be you know, everything else will be done out of a wood material.
Okay,
Is the little archways sort of strange on the portico as well, like the little. Yeah, the keystone.
On this
yeah.
building, this is not, yes, the first proportions on the portico are off. I mean, I think, I would think the best way to do this is not go through details right now at this meeting, but maybe work or come with some examples or something for our next meeting and we can discuss further, or.
well,
This is a
I think,
huge thing.
if we are not going to approve this, we have to give him enough direction
Okay.
as to what we object to, so that he can make any adjustments.
I mean, we
I'm
cannot.
getting the sense that it's pretty much the entire thing that you don't like. You know, we need to go back to the drawing board, so to speak.
I'll start it off. Well,
Yeah, why don't you
well,
start it off?
first of all, let me get a consensus. Am I correct that this application will not be approved?
Yes.
Okay. So why don't we, I'll start it off, identify the things that bother me the most. And then,
Yep.
you can, well, first of all, only pre-1 has enough information as far as the materials go, so I think the other drawings need to be clarify the materials being used on various different elements. You know, for example, what are the doors? Are the doors wood doors? Or are they fiberglass?
It'll be fiberglass, but okay.
Okay, well,
It
see,
says to be select the style, it needs to be selected too, so we don't, this isn't. On here, it notes style to be selected, so this may or may not be what
okay.
is.
Right, and so what we do need to see is what you're planning on doing, whether that is what you're planning on doing, because we need to know what it is that we're going to be approving. I can tell you right now, the vinyl siding and the vinyl trim, I have a problem with that. I don't think that that is acceptable. I think that the head of the 3 front windows seems a little out of place, because none of the other windows have that feature.
Yeah, I think get rid of that.
Right. But we already talked about the garage doors.
Would you prefer any glass in the garage doors or just solid panels?
To me, that's optional. I mean, I don't have any problem with glass in the garage doors. Or it can be just solid panel.
And there's no way, given setbacks or, I know this particularly would be a cost concern, but of offsetting the garage at all, kind of towards the side yard.
It's a 24-foot wide house. You know, existing foundation is 24 feet, so there's really no other way to put a garage in this house without adding on and the needing of variance.
Or whatever, that is not our.
Yeah, and that, and also, realistically, with this thing being set back that far, I don't have any problem with that. But I'll turn it, and I have a problem with the windows on the right elevation.
Yep.
All right. Todd, your turn.
Yeah, that, what Al said, also the sort of the arch, that arch detail in the front portico, I think is a little, not appropriate. You address the keystone head trim around the windows in the garage. The entry door, I guess, obviously we would need, I mean, we would need we need cut sheets on the windows and the entry door. I don't. And surface applied muttons, exterior surface applied would be important too. No simulated divided light between the insulated glass.
Well, let's talk about the windows.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I don't,
Can we go to like, 4/4 or 2/2?
Would be probably more appropriate.
yeah,
for
8/8.
colonial,
You said 4/4.
2/2.
Or 2/2? I mean,
Yeah.
I think,
Given the
yeah.
They're quite big. They are quite big.
Yeah.
And this is the standard grill pattern from the window company.
This is what?
This is the standard grill pattern of this size window from the company.
Yeah, I mean, they're. Yeah, they're wide because they're meeting egress, right, in the
Egress
bedrooms,
requirements,
so,
emergency egress.
So did I hear you say that you wanted applied muttons?
exterior,
Um,
I mean, if they're not true
SDLs,
divided light, then yeah.
Divided or simulated divided, but SDLs or would, right,
Yeah,
We wanna
So
make sure it's not-
I
reducing
mean, again, that's a,
the number of
that's a significant cost increase.
higher,
I mean,
it's in
for-
the guidelines, right? Those are the two options.
I'm sorry,
Those are the two options presented in the guidelines, either true divided or simulated divided.
okay,
We would also need front door details, front railing details
yeah.
for the entrance. And
for less than 30 inches off the ground, so it's a, all it is a handrail. There's no guards, there's no railing required.
okay, it's just one drawing shows a railing.
It's showing a handrail.
So, yeah.
On my drawing, it's showing it just a simple handrail, there's no more than 2 risers.
Okay,
Oh, we're talking about the back elevation, maybe? Is that what you're seeing?
No, that's.
just the detail of the handrail.
Details of the
Right.
rail. We need details because we're showing 2 different doors here. It also looks like you're showing 2 different
This
shaped
is,
columns.
this is his version, this is.
Right,
the-
but it says there's a note to be
Oh,
selected
sorry,
and stuff,
yeah.
so it's very, and the,
Yeah, modular doors are very ugly.
these proportions of the columns are different in 2 different drawings, so. Whatever, and yeah, the bases are shown differently. So yeah, all of those all of those kinds of details would be helpful to.
This is not critical, but you have over here aluminum covered rake boards.
Right.
If you go to the composite siding material, and I would assume then that would also translate into the trim, like the corner boards and stuff like that, then probably should follow through on the rake of the roof.
Yeah, usually when you do that, you use an AZAC material, the PVC.
There should be.
The fiber cement rake boards are very difficult to work with. And they don't look very good up there. But
Sorry, could you say that again?
normally, when you do the fiber cement siding, usually it's an AZAC or clear type of corner board and rake details.
Right, well, AZAC is something that we have approved in the past.
All right,
They want to look at that.
So the windows, I don't know about, just because it's hard to, they're big.
They're big.
So I almost feel like you don't wanna risk losing that vertical orientation of the panes.
Also,
Yeah.
but if we're requesting that windows are added to the west or east facade, I'm not sure if this is oriented plan is. To the west facade, then those could be egress windows and these could be made more narrow. And then
Oh,
Yeah.
it would be more
okay.
proportionately
yeah, yeah,
appropriate.
and then maybe probably not a 4, either a 6 over. Or 2.
To-
2.
Like for the proportions of the
Yeah.
house would probably be right.
Yeah,
And for some of those decisions, it would be ideal if there were just contextual photos of neighborhood homes, right? Like some of the questions that you had taught about the portico, the columns, the keystones, those all feel rather ornate
yeah,
for housing in this area and for the scale of this home.
yeah.
And so I question if those would want to get pared down.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're actually gonna try and save you some money. You can get rid of the keystones and the windows.
so if the, one of Al's points is adding some second floor windows on the right elevation. That would potentially be satisfy your egress requirements for those bedrooms, which means the scale of the windows in the front of the house could come down a bit. And the light pattern be simplified to maybe a 2 over 2. What would you then suggest on the side elevations for those
You know
windows?
what? All I'm gonna say is by adding the windows on the right side, now my clients, the client's not gonna have anywhere to put a bed. They're gonna have to put the bed right in front of the window. And these rooms aren't very big. So, I mean, we'll add them, but I'm just saying that.
I mean, that's. I don't know what that wall is, but-
And we're telling you what our reaction is.
No, I understand.
Ultimately, you need to work this out with the client and make it code compliant. For example, you've got 2 huge windows in the garage. Maybe you can take those 2 windows and move them up to the second floor.
All right, I'll work it out with them. All right,
Yeah, but I mean, we're gonna count on you to work it out with them.
Can we send like examples of like
Yeah.
historic houses that are kind of sort of where we'd like it to go? Like sort of more simplified, like early 20th century or late 19th century houses. for example.
Well, I
That
mean,
help- Would that, is that helpful?
it may, I think that, I'm not that that tied down by the stylistic, not following a stylistic or a pattern for a certain style, because realistically, this is a 2024 house. And what the house needs to be appropriate to the district. So if it doesn't exactly follow a certain style, that's fine, because it's not.
I
in the-
agree.
Yeah.
There's like a lot happening, like a
Right.
lot of components here, so maybe.
I think,
That's, that's why I think that, what we can do is point out things which are unnecessary. That can be taken out.
I think in general, one of the points, is, sort of, I think Al sort of touched on it earlier too, is trying kind of faking the historic building in some ways is worse than just doing something a little bit more modern or simple. And so that's why we're suggesting stripping away some of these details that are maybe a bit flourishing and simplifying, and using, more appropriate materials that are in our design guidelines. would go a long way.
See, for example, the Keystone, realistically, that's a detail for a masonry wall. And it's a little, superfluous to a wood frame, window, even though I have seen them used that way, but I think that if you take a look at the overall, or a lot of the houses in the village, they're a lot more straightforward and plain construction,
But beautiful,
but beautiful.
still
yes.
beautiful.
Still beautiful.
Especially a lot of the worker housing, and we use the word worker housing referencing like, Kemble and some of the side streets that. And I know you said earlier, a lot of these houses are covered with vinyl and aluminum, and so we're not referencing those houses.
Well, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but we're basically, given where this house is, and I mean, I understand the guidelines, so don't think I don't. But given where this house is, if you look what's around it, you're talking about, something that's, it's not gonna fit in now. Yeah, and I understand the guidelines, so don't get me wrong, I'm just making the statement. But obviously, we're gonna have to do something because they need a place to live. So they're gonna have to do something that's gonna, satisfy all the requirements. So, we'll work it out.
Yeah, I mean, the reason that it's so important to get it right with something like this, number one, because there's not a lot of new construction that happens in the village, but number two, as these houses turn over time and are renovated, a lot of people are ripping off all of the junk and the vinyl and the aluminum. We have another house on Kemble whose application we approved not too long ago, who's taking off all of the aluminum siding on their house and restoring it, I forget, to wood or to, something, and it's on Kemble. So, if we approved, you already mentioned it, but it's important to get it right this time, because as time marches on, more and more people are moving here and renovating these homes thoughtfully and carefully and sort of bringing them back to their potential.
Right, is that Michael?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so I mean, do you think you have enough information from us as far as the things that we object to?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm gonna go back and I'll have we'll have a lengthy conversation with our client tomorrow.
Okay,
And explain to them, some of the things and, see where they, what their feeling is. So,
all right, and we'll put you on the agenda for next month?
yep, please.
But that doesn't happen.
Well, I don't know if we need a public hearing, it's a new building.
With the neighbors? I don't know if it notices to the neighbors. I thought normally notices were sent to the surrounding properties, is that?
Well, for a public hearing, yes, there is,
I see. When,
but, it becomes a question of whether or not, a public hearing is necessary for this. Huh?
I mean, why would a public hearing be, what's the thought behind having a public hearing? I mean,
Say that again?
I'm just wondering, why the thought of a public hearing for this?
Well, the code requires that we hold a public hearing for significant projects, significant additions or new construction. So I think Todd's got a point here that probably we would have to have a public hearing. But if you get past us, usually it's public hearings, a piece of cake.
I don't think anyone is gonna object to.
Okay, so we'll defer and usually the public hearing is like 2 weeks after we vote to go to a public hearing. And then and when we feel that you're ready to go to a public hearing, so next month, we can go over this and hopefully you'll be able to go to a public hearing shortly after that. Okay,
All right,
any other questions? Feel free to reach out to me or Jeff, and we'll be able to tell you what is required.
okay.
All right,
All
thank
right,
you, Mike.
you.
All right, so that is deferred to next month. Okay. Well, okay, workshop. 12 Parrot Street.
Why would this be in a workshop?
Hello.
Hi.
Here. Is what,
Well, I think they already have approval on a lot of the work that they're revisiting and adding.
Yeah,
some windows.
yeah.
all right, so this is the one that I was concerned about.
Uh-oh.
So am I speaking with Craig?
Yes,
Yeah.
hi.
All right, Craig, tell us about your application.
Yeah, so initially, our approval through you guys in a public hearing was limited to replacing the windows at the rear of the house for the new addition we were doing. But so many of the existing windows in the house are in desperate need of replacement. You know, many of them are cracked, and you know, a bunch of them won't even open, which concerns me in case there's a fire or some sort of emergency. So what we want to do is just replace all of the windows. We initially chose and showed you in the last proposal the Anderson 400 double hung windows. But after I met with this window company in Wappingers, New Beginning Windows, they're called. We really liked the Windsor wood clad pocket double hung windows. It just felt like they more like closely resembled the windows we had in the house now. I like the charm of them. And so we were initially planning on just matching what's currently in the house. But what's currently in the house is a lot of like 2/2, and then the back is like 6/6. And I'm happy to do that, but I wanted to check with you guys too, because I think it would look better if they all sort of just matched throughout the whole house. But, you know, of course, we're happy to do it. What you guys think is best. You know, you had a lot of great thoughts and suggestions when we went through the whole process and the addition. So I just want to know what you think too.
So what you're proposing now is that four panes over one pane in the double hung?
Well, there's what you'll see is throughout the whole house, it's currently, as when we bought it, it's sort of mixed matched throughout. And we were, with the addition, we were going to just sort of, we all agreed on just sort of matching that. So the back would still have the 6/6, and then the front would still have the 2/2. And then the windows in the bay windows would just match what currently is. They're kind of smaller panes, which you'll see from these photos.
So like the 1/1 because they're just kind of skinnier.
Yeah, but which I think would look nice if we keep those the same. But
Right, matching it.
We
That's
want
just
2/2 everywhere. Okay.
he's at, yeah.
Okay,
That's
I
just
was
a
like, what's this?
picture.
Okay,
That's
great,
just
all
a
right,
picture of
got it.
the
Got it.
I was what you'll see here is I'm proposing to just keep it all the same with the new addition with the new windows. But I want to know what you thought, because maybe it would look better if it was all, you know.
I tend to think so, and I think I was an outlier when this came before us before in thinking that. But I do agree. I think 2/2 throughout is unifying it would be a good thing.
Yeah. And what about the bay windows in the front and in the side?
Bay windows.
Say 1/1, right?
Yeah, well, in the front, it's hard to tell in this picture, but they all seem to be
They're
equal.
small. Yeah, and they're small.
Yeah, I think 1/1, and then the side, the left and right appear to be larger windows.
Yeah. On the,
Yeah,
and the
and then
side,
the
yeah.
two in the middle are skinnier again, so I would think the side windows should be 2/2.
Of the
Right.
bay or?
Yeah, the side bay, this one.
Yeah, I'm trying to
Can
imagine.
you see?
Oh,
You can see
thanks.
it there.
Yeah, got
Yeah.
it. Yep.
And that's what it is now, yeah.
2/2,
Right.
1/1.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah, and these are full replacement windows or insert?
I think that we're keeping the same, like, they're keeping our trim, all around, which is great, because it's kind of nice, but, so it's like, I guess they're inserts, right? Because they're full wood clad with, the grids, simulated divided, but they're wood, on both sides.
It doesn't necessarily mean it's an insert. In other words,
This looks like a.
Actually, I think I included their exact proposal in the thing. Let me see what they say.
Because you can definitely
says
keep
complete
trim,
unit.
you might have to
Yeah.
pop it off to put in a full frame window, and then put it back on, but you should be able to keep your trim as your.
Yeah, they said they were no exterior trim, concealed. They give you the whole.
usually, even when you're replacing, it's still the same. Um. Okay,
Complete unit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
all right, are we doing this as a workshop?
Oh, yeah, it is. A workshop.
All right, so. Right, so that would be something that you'd have to just verify. It appears as if it is a full replacement window. In other words, the existing window comes out, new window comes in, as opposed to an insert window where they take out the sashes and they insert a new window frame and window inside where the sashes were.
And we don't like that version usually because the window itself gets smaller
Smaller.
and the panes get smaller. And so it doesn't proportionally work with the historic nature of the house.
Okay.
All right, so you need to verify that.
And you have your worksheet.
Thank you for saying it, because yeah, we are currently working on a window worksheet. And we will be reviewing it tonight, and if you are willing to beta test it for us, we can you so that you have an idea of what types of questions we're.
Yeah, I think it would help sort of clarify what we're meaning by full replacement versus sash only, and
Yeah.
what measurements that would be helpful.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sure.
I think in terms of the 2/2.
unifying it
I feel
throughout,
comfortable.
yeah.
Yeah, great. I'll find that out tomorrow, and I'll adjust the drawings to show that they're unified.
Sorry, we're all mumbling now. Can you say that again?
I was just gonna say, yeah, I'll contact them tomorrow to find out what it is with the windows, if it's a full replacement. And then I can adjust the drawings to show the 2/2 matching throughout, besides those bay windows we discussed.
That'd be
Yeah.
great to see, yeah.
I think it'll look a lot better too, because it's sort of all over the place right now.
Great. Your proposed left and right are quite different, yeah, I think that would be the right direction.
Yeah.
And the wood side is great.
So
Yeah.
So we'll send the window worksheet if he's willing to look at it, and then Craig, you said you would redo ask for the elevations to be done showing the 2/2s? Is that,
You mean to just adjust the drawing to show the 2/2?
maybe it's not necessarily, I don't know.
Well, if you take a look, this is the original approval that
yeah.
he's asking for a change on.
Yep.
And basically, all the elevations are there,
Mhm.
except the 6/1, and then, okay. Fine for the round. All windows are to be 2/2.
Again, I'm happy to keep it the same if you guys prefer. But I think it would look better with matched.
Well, I think,
Yeah.
I happen to agree with you concerning standardizing the configuration of the windows. And I think if you verify that in fact you're installing a new window as opposed to an insert window, I think that would work well for me.
Okay,
Yeah.
But I think that what we're gonna have to do is go over, window by window, with your new application. Because if you look at some of these, some of the windows in the photographs as opposed to what was drawn, like the front windows, the bay window, I think that is like 1/1 because they're very narrow windows.
I know, and then we approved 2/2.
Yeah,
So,
and that was all your fault.
yeah, what's that?
That's all your fault.
I think I was the one that I am shocked if somebody
Wait,
wants to
the-
go on.
that
I
we-
would have thought
we-
that if anything, I would have been the one out of the 4 or 5 of us who said I vote for unifying all of the windows, but
but the
I feel-
the front bay windows, I think we always had approved at the 1/1, those little tiny ones in the front there.
oh, the drawing we're looking at with your approved application is 2/2.
Is it?
Yeah,
Well,
For the-
but it looks like, that was the basic intent is to make them all 2/2.
yeah.
But I think that the bay window up front really is too narrow to be.
Yeah, and I think also given the scale of the windows in the proposed addition too, I think they would relate to that more if you did them 1/1. The bays,
Is-
right?
Is there a way to throw that up on that photo on the drawing on the Zoom or I don't know that.
The original
Like,
application.
Thing that I
approved
do
application.
sometimes, here. Like,
Okay.
Lauren has a high-tech solution.
yeah, where is this
No.
thing? Can you see me? No,
Can-
don't do that.
Scroll down, because I think it's.
Oh, is it in there?
There's no drawing numbers either, so.
I think it wasn't in the package that's this
Yeah, it's this-
application, it's the prior.
Can you see this,
approved.
Craig? At all? Can you see what I'm
Yeah, I
holding
can
up?
see. No, it's the screen's so little because we're on the other thing.
There you go.
I like this high-tech solution
Yeah.
here. So it's, these windows shown here on this drawing as approved are 2/2. But I think we're saying 1/1 is
Yeah, we're all in
okay with us.
agreement.
Okay,
Yeah.
for the front bay windows, right?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah,
And-
agreed. That's what I was hoping to. I'm sorry if there was a mix up.
So I think-
But it looks like, you know, on this original application, everything was to be 2/2. At least that's what, the drawings indicate.
No,
Like on the ground, we have 6/1.
yeah,
Yeah.
6/1, 1/1.
Well,
And
okay,
then somewhere.
I know, but over here it says all windows to be 2/2 to match windows on the addition to the proposed front
Oh,
elevation.
I didn't see that.
The
Oh,
addition, we were matching the 2/2, but the back, we were matching the 6/6.
Or maybe that was just,
And the right elevation, you weren't talking about replacing, which is why those are all 1/1. Okay,
Right.
Yeah,
anyways. I think, we're all in agreement.
we're all in agreement.
Applying the double hungs to 2/2, except the front bay stays as 1/1.
Great,
And the side bay, the two skinny windows are 1/1.
yeah.
But if you'd like to be the guinea pig on the worksheet,
Yeah.
that would be great.
or just provide feedback
Yeah.
would be great, not have to.
Yeah, whatever,
And-
sure.
Finding out whether we're the full replacement, I think is.
Okay, great. I'll contact them and then I'll send you all this over.
Okay,
Cool. Do we don't need a new elevation. We can note it up on-
I think as long as it's noted, yeah. Yeah.
But we're not, we don't.
Okay.
So we're not voting.
No,
This is
no,
workshop,
we're-
so-
Okay.
yeah, the workshop, so you'll be back next month.
Okay, cool.
Very good.
Thank you.
Great, thanks.
Okay, see you guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, last but not least, 241 Main Street. Is that you, Anatoly?
Yes, sir.
So now. Okay, you want to replace the windows.
Yes.
The only thing is that, the information that you submitted on the windows does not really tell us very much aside from the sizes.
Sizes of the windows.
Well, no, we have the sizes, they're in, metric, which is,
Yeah, because I ordered them from the Germany, the Europe.
Oh,
Okay.
Just because you know the two options, they more energy safety than American compared to the the energy car.
mhm,
For that price, it's much higher. And the glass is triple.
it's
Which is-
triple pane.
It's a triple glass, which is
Yeah.
give them a lot of more energy. saving.
energies, right,
And it looks like this. This is white. It's already installed because some of the I did on the job site. And I take a picture of this. Window just with this, which is black.
Sure.
okay.
And then-
So I guess the question is that what building are we looking at?
Right, I saw that
on-
garage and I thought I knew that.
They're
That's
on-
across,
yeah,
like,
on
across the
Nelsonville,
street
across
or
the
the
village.
town?
No, this is it's across the street from the car.
From the Phillips Town.
Yeah.
It's on the
And,
corner, it's actually a very prominent location across. from
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to even maybe do something with this garage because the garage door is falling apart. But that's up to you, whatever, because I don't wanna, whatever you'd like it, I put it. In this case,
And that's right next to the.
the windows,
Yeah.
I don't wanna change anything, I just want a new windows because they're junky.
Okay, well, the only thing is, the question is what the window is in fact made of. Now, it looks like, is it PVC, polyvinyl chloride?
This is like a PVC, but it's not the same PVC as this is aluminum and aluminum and PVC. Aluminum and PVC.
It does say too, it, just so you're aware, double glazed, so if you want triple glazed, make sure that
Oh,
what you're
this is
getting.
double glazed.
It's
Yeah.
also
Yeah, I
double,
asked you
yeah,
for the triple.
yeah, so make sure if that's what you want.
I would like them to be triple, yeah.
Well, the only thing, reason I would hesitate on that is that I'm not sure in our climate, a triple glaze is really justified. I don't know how much, what the difference in cost would be.
I've heard that too, that it doesn't actually, the windows are so, normally, in general,
Mhm.
that it's more expensive to purchase them and they don't offer that, the performance.
Yeah, the
Different people
climate
out there
here
have
is not as
different
bad as it is in Germany, where I'm sure the triple glaze is probably preferable. But, you know, that's your call, you know, I'm just telling you what my experience is.
It's a good I comment here because, you know, eventually I want to remove this siding because it's a junk and it's great you're not allowed this vinyl anymore. Because, you know, the people like coming from the other countries, they walk in the main street and they see this vinyl siding, those fences, plastic fences is falling down,
Yeah.
asphalt shingle roof blows away, and this United States, you know, this is the face, main street like a face of the country. It's supposed to be not allowed long time ago. You know, like if you go somewhere in the main street in the European towns, everything has to be brick, beautiful columns, you know, and you know, it's maybe they don't do it because of the taxes. I know these people have money, but they don't do it maybe because of they worry about the taxes.
They're always hard, yeah.
I would like to have eventually, I just don't have money to do everything in one shot because
Sure.
I take mortgage $500,000.
Okay.
But next year I want to change the roof. And I want something maybe either, I do standing seam roofs for living, so easiest for me to be for the standing seam. But I can also do, if you not allow me, maybe Da Vinci slate, like a slate roof.
Yeah,
Something like that, and brick on the walls, that thin bricks, which is with insulation, which will make it look house like a brick. But it's not gonna happen this year. Now I wanna do the windows because I wanna fix inside everything,
Yeah.
you know, and I wanna
Yeah.
destroy it twice. In theory.
Right.
That's why I do the window. I pull this, same size, I pull it out for the new one.
Well, so this house is a historically wood clad house
Yeah.
with,
Wood clad like,
wood panel siding.
Mhm.
That's how it was built. That's how a lot of the houses are built around here. And also, it looks like they were historically these look like original windows.
It's,
In a lot of these photos, it's like two over two double hung windows.
I think the front looks like 6
Or
over
six.
6, which I don't
Mhm.
think,
no, but the back,
Are they
it's,
vinyl?
back, it's not, they vinyl, yes.
the windows are
Cheap
vinyl.
vinyl, you know,
Yeah.
like the vinyl which are removed and this kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not the original because they're not they're not very old, they're just very cheap. Front, somebody replacement probably up to 10 years.
Really?
The back, the side.
Yeah, you can tell.
No, they are, no, totally, I was thinking of a different.
I mean,
stuff,
but some of the windows, if you look the different picture, they're not the same as, that's a 3 or 4 different kinds of a window in
Right.
the house.
Right.
You see, this is very,
Yeah.
very different than
Right.
those, and also on site, it's, again, it's a different window.
Yeah.
okay, would you be able to get us more information about the window that you want to use?
Uh-huh.
Because, you know, what we have here are the sizes, and it looks like,
Here's the.
Well, I mean,
I know, but what is it?
These look like. to
It's a
me, these
casement.
look like
It's a
casement
tilt and turn
windows,
casement, which is a very
Which is-
common European, like, ultra efficient.
Mhm.
Which is great.
Great.
Except.
I mean, those
Design-
windows, I have a video, this windows, it's expensive looking windows, and they doesn't look like very modern, the way it is. They look just like on this picture.
I know, but the problem is that, this is a casement window,
Yeah.
which is, looks entirely different, because double hung window it has two panes, and
Mhm.
so you have that meeting rail where it's very visible, whereas these don't have that.
So, looking at it like this. The detailing. And the trim and the, everything it looks very different compared to a casement window. Which is this, which is like, more like what you have where all of the bulk is in the frame. With a double hung, you've got a lot more bulk here because it lifts up and down the sashes. That's sort of the biggest probably concern is purely the style and function, and then also, I can't tell if this, this one, it looks like the
It's just the pictures.
it's
from
between
different
the
clubs.
the panes. This one
Uh,
looks like it might be
No,
surface mount.
it's all between the
It's
glass.
between,
But in what I have now, it's also between the glass.
right, which we do not,
Yeah, we
That-
would.
Well, between the glass, that is a simulated, well. I guess we have another candidate for the window.
So
Yeah.
that bottom diagram, sorry, the. I mean, that, right,
Mhm.
actually.
yeah.
Well, and then totally take a look.
So,
And there are American companies that you can probably get the windows that you're looking for. You can probably get the windows that we're looking for in Germany also, but that depends on what's easier to tell
Well, the
them what you
problem-
want.
The problem is he's make already the windows and he's loaded in the container. He's going to ship this week. And I pay $18,000. You know what I mean? I don't know how I should pray so you approved me. Because that's for me, it's 4 months or 5 months of work. To put in the garbage. You know, but still, look at the doors, they cannot be double hang.
No, a door is a different
No, the
different
windows
story.
though, they're just
But
like.
all of the windows in the house,
They're-
the original windows in the house are double hung.
Mm, But it's not so, I mean, I don't know. It's just about the functional, because from outside, you're not, from 20 feet, you're not be able to already tell if it's double hang or casement.
Well, you can very much tell when the divisions, when the fake divisions are between the glass, you see how you see one big reflection off a piece of glass. When the dividers are on the surface of the glass, it breaks up that reflection. Even when they're fake, it breaks up that reflection a little bit.
And
Yeah, I know what you mean, but
doesn't
this-
read
this-
as a double hung because of the way it's broken up as well. So there's nothing that
Oh,
looks like a
video?
meeting rail.
Mm,
I'm feeling the same as them, it's difficult, but if someone comes in next week and asks for the same thing, we would have to say, I'm sorry to say dog visually, they're not historically appropriate.
And also in the double hand, they really has to be double hand, and if it used to be double hand, because all of the new windows right now is going to casement. I don't like when it's open like this, like in the jail. I like to open normal window, like open, not slide.
That's our guidelines.
Right, the issue is that this is a historic district, so what we have to do is, we check things and prove that are appropriate to the district. And realistically, casement windows were not typical for these these buildings. They're typically double hung.
Is there leeway on the rear facade if it's not visually accessible?
Say that again?
Would there be leeway at all on the rear facade if it's not visually from a public
Well,
way?
that's a possibility. I
It's
mean,
a little hard because the photos are close up to kind of get,
an idea of the.
from the full, like, could you provide some photos from the sidewalk or from across the street?
The front,
show-
yes, front, yes, but the around, it's a neighbors very close. I have to go to the neighbor's property, ask them. Cause I don't know them for so long. I mean,
Yeah.
I bought this house 2 months ago. I don't wanna
Okay.
go over there, walk and just
But,
take a pictures. They gonna.
for example, where is this?
This is from the neighbor. You see, I have just for another 5 feet and to the end of the property and I,
Okay, okay, but what is
this is
here?
the back side.
That's the backside.
Mhm.
So,
So I don't
so
think
that's
there's
what
any
Kate
real
was
issue.
driving at, is that maybe on certain windows, we can approve a casement. But, again, the question is that, is this a wood window with, metal cladding, or what is the construction of the window?
That's aluminum, window with the cameras inside. They have 4 cameras and then they laminate it with the black aluminum.
Or what? You said that they have 4,
Like a cameras inside, to keep the heat.
chambers?
Yeah, it's like kind of, like, it's like,
Okay, but, I got a feeling that's PVC. Because it sounds like he's talking about a hollow.
Yeah, like a hollow core, I don't know. It says
There are also like
PVC.
3 pretty prominent facades on this building too, and I would argue that the rear is. Because of the way the house is situated. it's pretty visible. All of
are,
this is pretty visible.
okay, I would have to walk by.
There, walk the dog, these are things. I mean, I'm not saying it can't happen, but it is, and also right next to the church.
Yeah, the church looks over the backyard,
Mhm.
right?
mhm.
And I see that this is a fixed unit.
Mhm.
There's one fixed unit.
Yeah, some of, some of them are fixed, yes. I mean, what if I do fixed or on the front fixed? Then it's not gonna matter if they casement or they gonna be like just simple, because just the way I see.
Well,
Oh, that's a
I mean, let me ask you a question, because you have a picture of this over here. Let's say this window here.
This is from the church side.
Okay,
I
but
know.
that's a double hung window, right? Now, if you replaced it with this, or this one, you're gonna see a difference, because this window has a big rail in between where the 2 panes meet, whereas this one doesn't. And so the ones which, are
You're
important,
talking about this one, yes?
yeah,
Um,
the ones which are important, and the ones that are visible from the street need to look like they belong there. This is maybe an excellent window, but it doesn't look like it belongs in this house. So, I think that, certainly the doors can be different. Right, I mean, the doors, and again, what we need to see is, we need to see how the doors and the windows are built. Now, these doors, they're all glass doors right now.
no, that's the thing. They put it some kind of, I don't know, they're a little different than the other ones, but, the door for the driveway property was kind of a missing. So this just the door from the closet, from interior closet, somebody put it on the old hinges when they sell at the house. Everything just like a junk.
Yeah.
You can hit this, whatever I touch, I put in the garbage. It just,
All right,
why I want this window and this door, because they really gonna look identically. Same color in the entire house, same profile, the door is gonna look totally like a window, and window like a door, all the same, all in the same color and everything, you know. They have right now this door, I don't know, Home Depot for $200. They put it before they sell the house, you know, from the scratch. And that's what it is right now, you know, and then,
Unifying it will be beautiful. I know
and
it's a
the
great.
door doesn't really, these windows doesn't look at all like doors, you know, and it looks just, even these windows, you know, this window, somebody put it 10 years ago. It's $80, you know, this.
Yeah.
It's called something, I don't know, United something.
We understand that. The issue is that this may be a better window, but it doesn't fit this particular building.
And it doesn't fit our design guidelines for the historic district.
Hmm.
And it's very unfortunate that you came to us at this particular time because, like you said, you know, this stuff is being shipped from Germany. But I think if these are as good as you say they are, once they're in, they're gonna be in there for a long time. Right?
What do you mean, if I could sell it to somebody?
No, well, what I'm saying is that,
The size is problem.
but
I mean,
putting this into this building,
Mhm.
these are going to be here in this building for a long time.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't match now, won't match in a couple of years, and it won't match in a couple of decades. It'll never match.
And moving forward with anything you do, we do.
Maybe if it's common, I put it one window, you look, you might like it, because, you know, you're talking about the big loss for me. I mean, we're talking about you know, I have to work in the construction half year to buy another window for this house.
Okay, well, we sympathize, but ultimately, our responsibility is to the district.
Yeah, I know.
So, and the thing is that what we may be able to do is,
Maybe, I mean,
is one of these this front door?
yeah, this is the front door.
Oh, well, this is the front door, but I mean,
This is not, this is what you see, it's not the door, it just go like, you know, that aluminum tin door,
well, that's a
then
screen door.
underneath,
It's
yeah.
a screen door.
yes. And then underneath, it's a door with some very, very small window, you know, with the kind of, you know, that
Made
the
of wood.
people, you know,
The oval. and
this
then
junk for
Yeah.
$200.
It was really popular for a while, but yeah, it's not historically accurate, that's for
I
sure.
mean, I would, yes, but I was thinking this is gonna go for you.
The spirit's right, I mean, I think you're renovating this, it will be a beautiful building, it's a nice form, it's a nice building in a great location, it's just. And you want all the windows to match, which is excellent, right, that's the goal,
Mm.
it's just unfortunate, I mean, this would be so cool in a modern building, I love it, it's just. It's not for this house because we're tied to these historic district rules.
Yeah, but no.
And just moving forward with other stuff, like we'll do workshops first, like before you order anything or plan anything.
Yeah, I
so we
know,
can
but
help you before this
I
happens.
mean, I forgot, I missed one time appointment, then I forgot another time. And then this guy, he say, if you want the windows, I loaded the container, I can make you in a week. And I say, they're gonna love this window because this window has a grill, and this window looks like a real window compared, you know, what the people have around. And I was like, take a risk because I think you're gonna like this for sure. I don't know, but okay, but what if I cannot put them in the garbage? How I can modify them a little bit so they make work for me? Put another grill on top. I don't know. The doors was like $1,000.
But let me ask you, because I'm a little confused, you were talking about. On this door. front elevation. Let's say this, if this is the door. Are you talking about just replacing the storm door with this?
No, no,
Or
this-
both.
This is, I think, this is window, what do you see?
No, I'm talking about this door here, right?
The whole
this
door.
Door is here.
Okay, now, but does that mean you're gonna take out not only the storm door, but also the wood door that's
The
underneath?
storm door, it's up to you. I can leave the storm door, you know, because until I replace the siding. Then I wanna remove because this is a piece of junk. And this siding piece of junk, but it's not something I wanna do right now. It's important for me to have new windows and new doors. So I can fix the house inside because, you know, I have to pay taxes, I have to pay mortgage, and then just sitting for nothing takes all of my money and I working for, and nobody lives inside.
Okay, well, the only thing is that it is very unusual that a glass door be in as a door into this sort of house. They would not do that.
What if I keep it this?
The wood door?
This is what I don't have a wood door.
What's underneath this?
Underneath this, I said this is this
The
to
Home Depot door.
Home Depot door for decorate. You know, this is the
I think we all feel for you. And as much as we can feel for you, and it's not our money, it's a very difficult situation. And what we just went through with the person right before you about
Mhm.
building this replacement, I mean, everything they presented was kind of not what we would allow. And so that's why we went through sort of item by item, and the windows were even an issue that we talked about with them, and he had double hung windows because that's what historically is appropriate in this village. And there would need to be some modifications to even what they were suggesting, because they were suggesting vinyl, and we would, you know, not
So
approve that.
nobody allows
It's-
casement window in the.
I think that, you know, per our guidelines here, and they would be allowed in certain unique circumstances that you needed to meet
Because if I.
egress requirements.
Because, you know, like I really I don't see in my house, like I can open the windows and doors like this, you know? They do them like that because the AC they have probably.
But that's what
Well,
historically, I mean, that's what historically was found in these homes.
Yeah, but
When the village
I
was
can make it,
built.
maybe I can make somehow so this is looks from outside like they double hang. Added this rail right here or something, but had them,
Well, that's also the
function.
that's the problem with the number of panes, is they're not
okay,
even,
I
so
can
you
ask
can't.
this guy to open and change the grill inside, you know, the way you want. That's the good thing because it's still in the container over there. I mean,
We also don't, you know, it's also the
It's the operation,
details, it's
too.
the
You know, because-
operation, but it's also the thickness here. We don't have any of that information usually, especially with the triple glazed window. This is big, you know?
I think one of the hard things too is, while your situation is challenging, and so brainstorming to some degree to fix it would be ideal. If we were to start to work with this, everyone after you will say it was done here. And so it's really,
Precedent.
it's setting a precedent, and it would be unfair to every other homeowner to allow this.
A lot of people have not been able to do certain things because they don't meet the guidelines, or they've been required to change or
what
spend
if
more
what
money,
if I
you know?
then do some kind of a things outside? Let's say to cover this with some kind of a shutters or something, so it looks like it outside, like you want, I don't know. Something what works for both of, because this is big cost of money and this is gonna be, I don't know. Oh,
I think,
and then,
I think we have a problem with this no matter what. I mean, realistically,
It's so different.
it's-
It's
right.
so different than what is there.
Yeah, but it's something.
It's so different.
Yeah, but you look just what they require you, what the law allows you. Don't look what is now, because now it's maybe it's not something what they was
But,
for originally.
here's the thing that you have to keep in mind. Our job is to preserve as much of the historic fabric as possible. This is a historic building. It's a building that goes back a certain ways. It's still in relatively good shape. If you were building a new house, we could probably have a conversation about this and maybe come up with something which would work. But in a historic house, we just can't do that. I mean, it's not gonna be possible.
So what my options to keep it this?
Well, I mean, the options would be, can you call the guy in Germany and ask him to take it out of the container? I mean,
No, this is custom window. I mean, he's not gonna take it. I pay him already. I mean, in my case, if you're not allowing me to do it, I'm not gonna change anything outside the wall. I'm gonna keep it for my rest of my life. This siding, vinyl, this asphalt roof, and this windows. Just fix it everything like it is, and that's it.
well, if that's the case, then we would prefer that than to install these windows in there, because once these go in there, they're gonna stay there. And
And then
it's
it
a
looks
wall-
even more inappropriate.
Right,
you know.
it'll look inappropriate for the next 20 years.
So sure, there's no way to work this out at all.
I'm sorry. We can't. And if you wanna do anything else in the future, come to us like early and we can work with you and make sure you're getting the right thing, but. I'm sorry that this happened, I'm sorry that these are already paid for, I wish this was a different situation, but we can't. approve it.
And what about then, what about these doors, what I have it, I keep it those doors, what I have it, yeah? I keep it the doors. what I
Talking
have,
about
keep it.
replacing the door with one of these?
Yeah, because door you don't see it, and the other door, it just, it's just the door from the closet, they take a door from the closet to cover the hole in the wall. And then I have to either keep it this or replace it to something else, because I cannot replace it to the, you know what I mean? This is very, very, very weird.
Even if it's a-
I mean, my only thing would be if there are, I don't know the building and the public right of way. We're looking at this critically from, I know keeping the windows consistent in the whole house obviously is the preference, but is you're saying the rear of the house is visible
Well, I
from
mean,
the
yeah,
street?
you're coming up from, cause it's on the corner.
Yeah.
So
So
you're
it's
seeing
just
the rear
visible
of the
all the
house
way
when
around.
you're coming up from, yeah, so it, I mean, even on, it's casement window, I mean, it's not.
But if it was not visible from any street, then
What if I plant some bushes so it's not visible and put the normal windows?
No,
someone comes and cuts
our
it down, then
policy is that we don't.
Great, but that's basically all. and that's
Yeah,
the
so
house.
you're walking, it's
so
like
it
a
is-
big
wow,
hill,
it's
it's
very,
very
very
visible
visible.
from walking up the
Okay.
street, it's visible from here, it's visible from here, it's visible,
Okay.
so it's.
Okay.
Okay, we have to think about all this.
Yeah,
So I keep it, Jesus, but the heat, this window, is just, Jesus Christ, the heat is gonna go just out. That's not gonna, it is no window. It's like this ceiling, it's gonna keep the same.
I mean, I wouldn't say, because these existing windows you're saying are poor quality. Sometimes we'll say for historic windows that are older and also leaking heat or AC, if you put storm windows on, the storm windows actually do a very good job of keeping the heat
Which
inside.
store windows?
So you
In
keep,
other words, it's a separate pane which is installed on top of the
What,
window.
what if I
Or you
do
can do
my,
it from the inside.
that's what I ask you, what if I do my windows and then install outside wherever you want, just for look?
Because these windows, the proportions of these windows are just not something we would approve for this house.
I mean, the
Well,
cost of, you basically would have to, you would have to
You'd have a new
purchase new
window.
windows that we would allow, which would be a significant amount of money in itself on top of everything that you just already purchased.
So I think I'm just saying, if you're not able
So it was
to,
really a temporary, it's not a permanent fixture in the house, they're removable.
Historically,
Going in the winter, off in the
right,
summer.
yeah, historically, what they did is in the winter, they put another pane of glass over the existing window. During the winter, during the summer, they took it off and they put a screen there.
Mhm.
And
You
it
can
was one
see
of
them
those
when you
things.
walk around on some of the houses,
Right.
and some windows, they just keep them on all the time if they know they're not gonna lift the windows up or down. But it's not, again, I was using it as a historic reference, it's not ideal, but if you're looking for a way to, you know, keep some heat in, it would be a temporary solution, and ideally, you would find a storm that would work with the future new window, and so you would replace in phases, but it does get complicated.
And you said, what about the doors? Then what about these doors? What about the door I have from the front driveway? I have to keep it that closet door, but they put it inside to, just so dogs don't go inside?
We're not saying
I
we have
mean-
to keep that door, but we're saying we can't approve these doors.
I think if something solid went on the exterior that covered this,
Well,
then.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's what I
that's-
asked you. I can keep it this door because it's a double. I have that storm door, whatever you call. I can keep it this and then put it this behind. You're not gonna see it
But
like
you'd
you
be-
don't see it right now.
Well,
can put it
you
in
can-
full
You can
door.
see the door behind the storm
Yeah.
door. It's going to be odd, in other words. This will wind up taking up a certain amount of space. Which is going
No,
to
no, this
be,
is just the windows. This is the window. This is not the door. This is door. Door is the same as they used to be. This is the double window because you see on the front, it's also a double window. And that's the same. It goes that double window, double window, double window. And here,
see, and what you're doing is you're changing that, because this is not a double window, these are two windows.
That's a.
So that,
oh no, this is the one window because I looked inside.
Well, it's one opening, but it's two separate windows.
there's a center mullion.
Yeah.
But in my case, it's also two windows. Oh no, this is two
No.
windows together or
No.
one?
That's one window which opens
Yeah.
out.
Wait, I can start with this. I haven't had a great now James house killing me. I should not buy this house now. If I know I have to go through all this, I would not buy this house. Sorry. Just because of the window.
Your real estate agent should have told you it's in the historic district.
That's true, yeah, which we can. I'd like to look into that more to see when they, how they tell.
I mean, it's okay. I mean, that's why actually in my if I would not have to go with historic, I would not do any grills inside, because I like the plain glass. But I always think that's why he's put the grill in.
You almost can't, I mean, it doesn't look like there is any grill on there from the
Oh, yeah, because
outside.
no, it's a reflective.
That's right,
because I
but that's
take
always
the
what-
sunny side.
But that's what you're always seeing on the, I mean, my business is 100-year-old windows. And when you see, the grill, in between the pane of glass, you don't read that there is any, but that's really not even the.
Yeah, I know this is, that's the really how it looks in the house. That's installed in the Millerton last week.
Yeah, and we wouldn't approve that here.
Oh, all right.
Um. I think that, if you have any other ideas, you know, we'll be happy to talk to you about them. But, I think that, what you're proposing, I just, right now, I can't see it. Something that we can improve.
Yeah, but the door, let's just help me with this door. If I do, outside is another layer of door, which are kind of covered completely, the inside door. Because you really don't see door at all.
No, I think
Not
we,
at
if
all,
you wanted
not
to do
at
that,
all.
we would need to see the proposed exterior door.
Exterior the cover, just anything you want from Home Depot, you know? Just the same piece like I have from the Main Street. That thing, I can put the same, I call junk, but I'm sorry, I call it junk.
Home Depot does, yeah, go, sorry.
Yeah, they have this kind of a stuff, and it's gonna look the same. It's not maybe looks historic, but it's gonna look the same as it used to be. And you're gonna see
saying
the
you would
same
wanna
thing, you know what I
replace it in
mean?
kind. I mean, that we wouldn't need for years. I mean, not something we would approve. We would
No, but I
approve
think if,
something
if
like that.
the approval of using this as the front door would be contingent
Behind the door.
on
Yeah,
us seeing what was
Yeah.
proposed for the exterior.
And we would not approve a new door, even if it's like the one that's existing, to get that door. Like, we wouldn't.
My only thought is if the door, the exterior front door was a solid wood door, the way that a lot of front doors are,
Yeah.
I think that's fine, but that's,
I think
So
there
I
are
think-
doors at Home Depot that, like you're saying, are not great quality and, have a weird windows, but there are,
It's a very cheap door for big money, you know that.
but there are some doors that are sort of basic, but well-made and handsome that, that could ideally replace this without having to be, a custom door.
But we would need to see it
We
all.
would need-
So
we
like,
can help-
we could, before you buy something, you could show us what you're thinking about, and we could tell you.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know what to do with this. Because this is cost already a lot of money, you know what I mean? I try to use somehow something in some case, cause like now again, I ask you because you don't tell me the answer for this from the driveway side, yes? Whereas I have this, whatever closet door, what they bring it and put it,
It's
they didn't get
Outside.
permission to do that.
Yeah, it sounds,
I mean, there was, yeah, something hanging so dogs don't go inside. So I have to, I don't know. What if I keep it this stupid thing, but put behind it this door? And you see it, you still see it whenever you see it for the last 5 years or whatever. You know what I mean? I mean, because that's the one thing.
I think you're getting technical, right? And it's not, that's ideally for you as a homeowner, you wouldn't want to. You wouldn't
Yeah, I
want
know,
a
but,
Terrible door that you have to open.
No,
up your door
because
to
I want a
open it.
beautiful door, but you don't allow me. My wife think I don't know what to do right now. I mean, somehow you can meet me in the middle somehow. I can do something outside. I can do something, to
Well,
to do
I
it
guess
sort
the
of thing,
question,
but because it's
the question I have, and this is an aluminum door. It's an insulated aluminum door. But we have no idea how,
what if
wait, let me finish. We have no idea how the glass is installed. Now, we have no idea if the grill can be taken out. So, I mean, there are so many things going against it. If you can if you can find out how this is, so that, let's say, a bottom half is a panel and the upper half glass.
Maybe they could modify it. Is that
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I asked you so you can approve.
I know,
For the
but,
doors.
Specifically just for the side door?
yeah. I mean, if this could be modified, and the only question that I have is that, I mean, it has to look professionally done.
Yeah, but I know, you see, that's the thing. We have to talking about this today because, you know, the container, it's over there. It's in, they
Right.
can open, do whatever they have to do, and they still ship it container end of this week. You know, because I'm not here, not be able to take all this apart and do it by myself, you know,
Right.
you know what I mean? That's why I want to figure it out something with you right now. And I'm sure there is a way you can meet me somewhere, you know. So I know I'm gonna spend some extra money and stuff.
Honestly, I think if they were even remotely close to being something that we would accept, there would be a little bit more room for some wiggle room, some room for kind of accepting it, but if somebody proposed this, I mean, we would never accept anywhere near what these look like because of the style and the materials and them going in a home that's all double hung windows. We would not ever accept even a casement style window, let alone a casement style that we don't have any, you know, dimensions on the jambs and the depths of the profiles and with the divisions between the glass, you know, that don't match the original divisions in the house. Like, there are so many things here.
So if your neighbor tomorrow or next week said, we also love these and now we want these windows.
They're modern,
we
they're
say
insulated, they're gonna help
No to
our,
them, and they'd say, well, how can you say no? And
Well, I already
a
bought
week
them.
ago, you
But
know,
believe me, the
Yeah.
neighbors, what the neighbors have it right now, they better put anything else. So you just don't look that blue vinyl siding, terrible junky windows,
yeah.
asphalt roof, which are
But this
flying,
is what
and a
we-
mess in the property.
But
like-
this is what we also explained to the architect that presented to us, and another example on the same street as this building. They're taking all of the vinyl siding off and they're restoring
that's
it
a
to
great
wood, and that's a
idea,
great
yes.
thing. So as these homes, there's a lot of people that have lived in this town for. Families have lived in this town for generations. A lot of people have lived here 60 years, 50 years, and this covering wood siding with aluminum or vinyl, replacing old windows, historic wood windows with vinyl was
Slowly.
very common in the 60s, 70s, 80s. Before this board was kind of together and starting to be able to enforce these things. And so they got away with a lot. And as those homes turn over, you just bought one of these homes, and that's a good
Yeah,
example of, you know.
I understand very
Yeah.
good what you say, and it's a good, there is a great.
So that's why we're
explanation, because
here.
The people would put it, you know, whatever they wanna put it,
Correct.
you know, but
And see, ultimately, that's what we're dealing with. We have to maintain a certain standard, otherwise, you know, people will come in and make changes. And then pretty soon you're not gonna have a historic district
Yeah.
anymore, because it'll be so changed, so many different things added that it won't, you know, there's nothing there, nothing historic there.
in my house, there is not much historic besides the vinyl siding and asphalt shingle roof, I see, but.
No, don't say that, don't say that.
This shutter's plastic, $12.
Agreed, I'm sure that you have plenty of stuff which is added on later on and is not historically appropriate. But the bones are there. I mean, is there a problem with the structure or the walls or to any extent?
Well, not really, something was rotten, but, you know, just.
Well, that's the whole point. The whole point is to try and get a structure and make the modifications to bring it up to speed, but still preserve what is there. And what you're talking about does not preserve what is there. It changes it. So, as I said before, we will be more than happy to talk with you to see if we can do anything. But unless you can come up with something else, I don't see how we can approve this.
Completely different windows, completely different doors.
Double hung windows.
What about the doors? How they have to look
They
like?
could be solid doors. They could be a door with sun glazing, but we would need to see all the details. And stuff.
Yeah.
What about, okay, what do you mean, some like a half?
Usually a wood door with, you know, the bottom half is solid or paneled wood, and then one or two or pieces of glass in the upper portion. You know, not that, but that idea where there's glass in the top and it's a wood door,
And
a
I think
solid wood door.
there are a lot written in the guidelines and examples in the guidelines too,
Yeah.
of the types of doors you can use.
You could, I mean, I think some homeowners have liked doing this and I like doing it, just go to different houses and if you see a door you like, take a photo of it. You could do that with a few and then when we talk next, we could review.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but you see the
Yeah, the problem is
complete,
you own,
totally, I own this.
Yeah.
This is half of the year of my work. I'm not gonna make tomorrow this window, maybe if I don't know have to do what, so.
I mean, there are architectural salvage companies that may take windows and buy them
No,
from
this
you.
special size, they're gonna give me $1,000 for all of these windows. You know that.
Yeah, and the thing is that we sympathize, but our hands are tied. I mean, we have an obligation to the district to make sure that, as much as possible, people comply with what the guidelines are. And unfortunately, what you're proposing doesn't comply with it.
Okay, then just prescribe me what, because I'm not gonna do it right now because, you know, I have this. I own this, but, just in 2 words, what exactly you want me to these windows to be exactly like this, yes?
yeah,
They has to be also vinyl or they can be something else?
no, not vinyl. Not vinyl, we don't approve vinyl.
Okay, they can be different
Wood
kind
or
of
aluminum
stuff.
clad.
But
Along-
they have to be double hung windows with
Okay.
the same pattern of light.
Yeah.
Either true
Yeah,
divided
but
light,
this is the same pattern of
it's
light.
not the same pattern at all.
What not?
In other words, well, this has 6/6. Is that what he should be using?
Yeah. Well, no, these are not, that's not, but these would be six, you see? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
And a meeting rail.
and then there's 6 panes below. Probably a better,
But would we be open to 2/2 if he preferred
Yeah.
more glazing?
yeah,
Yeah, I think so, but they,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6/6, so. Oh, there you go.
So this you have, and the existing 6/6, we think if you prefer to just have more glass, it could be
You could
okay to
do-
do.
No,
two.
it's already better 6/6 than this. This is looks to me.
Not that, that,
Looks
that's,
like this piece of window doesn't belong to
No.
the other.
no, we're saying you could do something like this.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
So
like that, 2/2.
lights over 2 lights,
I mean,
double hung windows, preferably wood or wood clad. No.
If I know, I wasn't thinking if this is the effect that very serious. If I know, I would first come and talk to you, you know?
uh,
It sets me just lost, you know, my loss of money sets me. It kills me because it's like, you know, somebody tell you, oh, you lost for your paycheck for half year. Don't worry, everything is okay.
no, it's-
But you lost a lot of money. But don't worry, just working another half year on the roof. Because I do the copper work conveniently, you know, all summer, burn yourself on the roof and don't worry, you lost, but it's okay. You see this, look at this window. This window, they put it probably 3 years ago. This, whatever they have in the house, they collected from the junk, you know, looks like. This is wooden window. And this has been put it maybe 5 years ago. This window, maybe, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago. This door, you see this door? You see this door? This door, it's from the inside closet, he's put it, with the hinges for clothes,
Right.
already? And you know, like,
and they didn't have any permission to do any of that, but if you look at this
I mean,
package that we just went
before
through.
nobody cares about this probably, you know, before.
This was probably done before the historic district was
The
established.
vinyl windows certainly
Yeah.
were.
So this is not, if they were, if the former owners of
And
this home-
you see, if I don't know, this is, I have to do something. Boom, boom, boom.
A way to be fair to everyone else and to maintain this,
Yeah.
the standards, I mean, like, we're here for a reason, and if we were to allow this, there's no reason for us to be here.
I know what you mean. Alright. Because I can stop him, not ship it to me, even this door, he can send all the specifications. And also, because this is just the glass, that it's open, you can replace the entire interior panel. You replace interior panel to whatever you want.
But it's more than that, because these proportions that you have here, this is too wide. We would never approve this. This is
And-
too wide.
See,
This operation is something we would never approve.
see, that and also, the thing you have to remember is that with a double hung window, you've got two tracks. Because each pane runs in its own track. With those casement windows, they don't have tracks because they don't open that way. They act like a door.
Yeah.
So, realistically, you're not going to be able to take one of these and convert it to a double hung window.
No, but the door, I mean, talking about the door, the panel at the door. Because door, it's expensive piece for a piece.
Well, it depends on what the door construction is. I mean, we don't have enough information. I mean, realistically, if that door was configured differently, you think it would, it's an aluminum door, swing door.
I mean, we don't have the measurements here, but just
The
if
size,
these are accurate drawings, the vertical panels on that door are huge. And I know you're looking to get something approved like today.
something, because
But
it's
we-
my
we
money,
can't-
I lose.
I
right there a
know,
lot of
we
money.
don't even have enough information. It's not even close.
What about this garage door? What I should do with this garage door? I don't bought this yet. I'm lucky I don't bought this door. I mean, because right now it's very old and it's not even functional anymore. I mean, there is some door, I can buy just any door in Home Depot and install, or this is.
No, I mean, I think if you have some ideas about these things. you can
No,
come
I
to
don't,
us in the
no, in
future
this case,
and
I
we
don't
can-
care, I just don't buy this. You send me picture, buy this, go buy this, I buy it. I don't care.
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
can't
because-
we can't prescribe that.
Yeah, the thing is that you, unfortunately, you made a financial commitment to buying some windows before you talked with us.
Yeah.
And that's a problem, and unfortunately, we can't accept what you're proposing. We try to, as much as possible, to meet with people ahead of time. For example, the guy who was there before you, he had a workshop. In other words, we sat down, he told us what he wanted, we told him what he should do. And we worked it out so that he knew, right before he bought stuff, that, he was buying the right thing. The problem is that you've already bought it, and, there's nothing that we can do to change that.
All right, I will leave you this or I take this because I have a headache, I have to go.
Okay, I mean, if you have some other ideas,
I should buy the drones for army for this money, because in Ukraine they collected every dollar and I give it to the army. And I spent right here $18,000 for this wind and put in the garbage. Jesus Christ.
Oh.
I wanna cry, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I just don't know what to tell right now because I cannot buy it right now, different windows. So I probably has to keep it. for half of the year collecting the money again.
Alright,
And then I come and talk to you again, what are we gonna do with this? This is also double,
We could, yeah, we.
garage actually have just solid, unopened,
They're
It's
probably
kind of a
dou-
window.
They're double hung, they're,
no, they're not open at all,
No,
they're
they're
not,
fixed. it's fixed windows.
so those that can put it, those two windows from over there or no?
well,
They also black, same size,
I'm thinking, even though,
it doesn't save me anymore because it's just two windows, but it's the same, they're the
I mean,
same.
does it, have you already paid the shipping?
Well, I have to
You
pay
paid- have you
anyway,
paid the
this is the guy I know, I cannot tell, I'm not gonna pay you the shipping.
Well,
I have to
ship-
pay him whatever I tell.
Shipping and customs duties and stuff
It's
is not a small.
Portion
dollar
of
amount
that.
due.
I mean, no, the shipping, it's not so terrible, shipping $12,000. $12,000, but there is another two orders. Into the, so I pay just 30%, so I pay $4,000, for shipping. But $18,000 for windows and doors I pay, that's the problem.
Well, $4,000 for shipping and $18,000 for windows and doors, that's 20%. That's over 20%.
Yeah, but if
That you would
know-
be saving by not paying to ship $18,000 worth of
Yeah,
material
no,
here
but
that you can't
I have to
use.
pay because like it set it up and everything, so I have to pay, doesn't matter what.
I'm not gonna be able to solve this, but I'm just thinking, once you've had some time, even next month, even though it seems soon, if you start to gather material, I know you won't be able to buy new windows next month, but just because the process can take time, if you come back with some ideas, we can start to set you up so that you have a better sense of
I
how
mean,
much
if I
the
don't buy
cost might
this,
be.
if I don't buy this, you can tell me what you want, I buy it. I mean, but next winter.
Yeah, we can't tell you what brand, but we can tell you that double hung, they should be double hung windows. They should be either a composite or aluminum clad or wood preferably, but if you want to do a clad
Probably
window.
aluminum clad because the wood,
Right, so
after
an
5
aluminum,
years, you know, they doesn't
Yeah.
work anymore and,
an
have
aluminum
you
clad.
seen our guidelines?
no.
Okay, it's on,
We do have this all written down,
it's
like
on,
village
it's on the
website.
village website.
Mhm.
The design guidelines, it goes through all of the things that we're looking
Yeah.
for and what, you need to submit to us. Does he have for the beta test?
Well, so if you look at the guidelines,
Which
and
test?
then if you look at the.
Yes,
This is a new
The
document.
diabetes test, I'm not gonna have diabetes probably after today, for sure.
If you look at the guidelines and then you find some windows that you are thinking about, like email that information to us and we can tell you in advance of you buying anything, whether or not it's something that meets our standards.
Yeah, no, these windows are so beautiful, Jesus Christ.
Right.
All right, sorry.
No, it's okay. I understand. I need it. I should have this meeting. When I listen how you go in details with the people around, I mean, I would think like you're just gonna tell me, no vinyl siding, no shingles because it looks crappy, and windows has to be with the grills because the
Yeah.
historic look, and that's all. Get out of here. That's what I was expect with you. What are you gonna say? But then when you start
Yeah.
talking about all of those details, I think I might gonna have some kind of a problem right here.
Alright, they're done.
Very sorry.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Good night.
You too.
Okay,
We owe it to ourselves to table the rest.
I think we need to get this done so that we don't enter this.
I think it's great. I mean, I gave my notes via email. I think he took.
I think that the one thing
For what
though,
it's worth.
Yeah.
He was advised last month not to order the windows.
Oh, good to know. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Jeff.
Thank you. Good,
No,
Me feel a little.
Feel better, yeah.
good.
I
Alright,
mean, not that.
I mean, he also said he
So-
bought the windows 4 months ago and bought the house 2 months ago, so it's not
We're a
really,
little all over.
yeah,
yes. He was advised not to.
yeah, in writing, so.
my only, the only comment that I have is that. Well, no, I mean, it's a question and I can do it, but
What?
is to make sure that we dumb it down because the people who will be using this are not going to be
Yeah.
window experts.
Yeah,
Even the
But your
drawings I
notes
was
are
looking.
really helpful. for
that's
that.
why I thought it was really important to exactly
Great.
define like what all the terms meant
Are
and
the
then,
drawings actually confusing? Because when I went to point to a double hung for the last meeting, I was like, oh my gosh, this is like.
I think what's a little confusing is like the way that they have, yes, a little, because it kind of makes this look like it's a 2/2, which is a very modern
Yeah.
kind of window that there aren't a lot of, whereas that shows you what, like
That's
that I
what
think
it
is helpful, but again, like they kind of, why would they do that? That's confusing to people.
So maybe this one I can make,
Just match the top.
Yeah, match the top.
and then I don't think we should show brick because no one knows brick, right? And
Yeah,
I
that's probably
probably
when I was
know.
like, brick, the
Oh, I
brick,
know.
I was like, whoa, guys.
Maybe wood.
I mean, my house is literally,
Your house is brick, but
mean,
not.
but I mean, if you didn't wanna like redraw, I don't know how hard that is to do. I mean, yes,
I think it's worth it.
but also like a
Honestly,
big
we spend
stone
like 3 hours right now, it's worth it
Yeah.
for 4 of us,
Yeah.
one person. is done.
Probably get rid of the big stone lintel too,
Exactly.
or like just to make it look like it's wood trim.
Wood sample, and then I even wonder if this image, even though this is pulled directly
Yeah.
from the
Right.
guide, do we?
Yeah. Yeah,
No, it should be like.
but also these are kind of odd windows
I
too,
wonder
they're
if
not
we
a very
make this,
typical.
yeah, typical wood.
Yeah.
Because that's mostly what people are
Looking.
looking for. I,
Or you can have both, I mean.
oh, why don't we do?
the-
Oh, that doesn't fit, I
It-
think.
well,
Yeah, don't get into
just-
InDesign, yeah.
Just think of this approach, most people will have a hard time reading the text.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Whereas if you show them a picture, they'll.
yeah,
they'll-
that,
they'll-
right, I was
they'll
just gonna
pull
say,
through.
make this larger, I think that would be helpful.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I do, these are helpful
They're-
because they do show the operation.
Would it be
which is
weird to
what
draw little
I
arrows?
understand. Yeah, arrows would be helpful, yeah, because then you're like, this is moving, this is not. This is moving, this is. not.
Yeah.
That would be helpful,
Right,
because then they're not reading it as fixed, as mullions. you know?
yeah, and I think that being larger also
Yeah.
with,
Oh,
Yeah.
The other thing was the fixed, the insert issue where people don't get what an insert is.
I
I was
know.
hopeful to be able to show. And there are images online.
Probably be helpful on a plan, right?
Yeah,
maybe if this
Well,
didn't say
well-
masonry wall, if this
Yeah,
said wood
same thing.
framing, and then we could just say,
The-
this is a replacement window, if they're taking this out of the wood framing.
Isn't this a month?
I think it's meant to be.
All right, if that's the case, then what we should
Draw
do.
through.
True to I did, yeah.
no,
looks
because
like-
those are two, this is
That's
the
a
top and
double.
bottom sash.
Oh,
This is a-
sorry,
this is
yeah,
a
yeah,
true
yeah.
design.
Okay, sorry.
That's a single.
Okay.
But I think the issue is, again, it's masonry, like this is pulled from a DC. I didn't do any of these drawings.
I think even just writing wood, changing masonry to wood jam,
framing,
like,
yeah.
or wood framing. It doesn't have to be.
Or frame,
or-
whatever. just something-
Well, no, because I think it should be clear that it's not
Not
the
the
frame,
bottom.
so that we can say this is the
I
window
think,
frame.
Yeah, we want like a 2x right there.
Yeah.
This is your wood framing, this is your window.
Yeah.
This is your sash.
And there's your cladding.
And so you can't just take out your sashes and add another frame, because then it gets small.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And maybe, and
This is great.
maybe, you do.
Yeah, thank you.
You do a cut, and on one side you have like this, and then on the other side you draw an insert.
And then say no. Line through it.
Well, sometimes an insert is okay. I mean,
if they manage to make the glass not shrink too much.
Right.
Yeah, but
I mean, it's not preferable.
but
Yeah,
they need
yeah,
to understand, I mean, we can, in the text, we can talk about, that the insert windows are not acceptable or not preferred. But, at least so that, draw it so that they understand what we're talking about.
And then if, the parsonage, not parsonage, who was the applicant who already was approved and is coming back? Parrot, yeah. If he actually were to fill this out, it would be a little bit intense. It'd be one of these per window.
Yeah, that is a lot.
That's a lot, right? I mean, I guess it says unless they're the
You could say
same.
for a typical window,
Yeah,
and then just have photographs of the rest, or, typical
Yeah.
photographs.
Yeah,
And then, yeah,
well, it just, as a common rule, because it goes back to what Todd was talking about as far as that, the store up on Main Street. Enforcement is going to be
Yeah.
a continual problem. It has been ever since I've been on the
you could
board.
go do this and, everybody would, yeah.
Right, and so the issue is we need to sort of bend over backwards to try and get people to want to do this. As opposed to, you gotta do this because we said so.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think the building on Main Street that I'm talking about, like, I am thrilled that they just did what they did. I think it looks great. I think we would absolutely have approved it. But my only point really is that it is a huge change from what it looked like 2 weeks ago.
Right.
And that is what kind of like, again, talking about, precedent and stuff, like we could then go back to somebody and say, well, that was a different case because blah, 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 blah. But if they're just gonna go ahead and do it and then know that they're not gonna get any enforcement, like us not being involved in that. Listen, I should have brought this up weeks ago because I saw them starting to do some stuff and it looked like they were just,
Probing at first.
it looked like they were
Yeah,
just
like, what are you
replacing
doing?
trim
Yeah.
in kind, and then all of a sudden, like, it was like, oh, maybe they're gonna just put glass back replace the glass where the glass is. And then all of a sudden, like within 2 days, all the plywood came out, all the new glass went in, I was like, oh my gosh, like, it looks beautiful, but like, how did we?
can we work with the building inspector more closely? I mean, he needs to close out permits, so is there a version where he is reviewing our approved applications to close them out?
Well,
Normally, he refers it to us.
Yeah.
But once they have the permit and it's open and they're doing the work, he's inspecting the work,
right,
right? And he'll say, you didn't.
That they only had an interior.
They only have a carrier permit, but we
but
could.
my experience with the building inspectors is that there is a definite lack of enthusiasm to look after the stuff that we're concerned
Yeah.
with.
Mhm.
And it's a problem that we've had
Yeah.
ever since we depend on the building inspector, being the enforcement agent.
Mhm.
And when the village had its own building inspector, it was a little bit better because you could, point your fingers at them, but even then, it was a part-time job and,
Right. So this
oh,
is- There's
whatever.
inspecting for aesthetics, and then there's, when we were reviewing the greenhouse, there's inspecting for sort of life safety and building quality and mold and
And
water infiltration,
Yeah,
and so the
completion of a project.
so what we were seeing in the back of the winery is exposed insulation and an incomplete facade and exposed.
Like they just
ceiling.
they never
They
finished the
didn't
back of the
close
wine
out
bar.
top.
The
They
Kronos, they
shouldn't
never
have.
Is that
finished.
the one, the one next to, forget who it was, the guy tore me.
Yeah.
Okay,
So that,
There was an issue, is there a reason why they?
no,
Problem with the neighbor or
there
something?
was a guy that was next to them, who was a sort of the village, troublemaker,
Yeah.
I guess.
Sides.
Yeah, and so, one of the things he used to, stack his empties on the front of his, porch, and he would yell at the tourists walking up and down Main Street.
Sounds like a great
Like
guy.
a little local color.
Jeez.
Well, he's the reason why, we have to process signage within 3 days, because
Oh.
he put up a sign and,
Oh, okay.
And, the mayor at that time had them take the sign down. So he got a lawyer, the lawyer says that we were infringing on his, First Amendment rights. And so they said, okay, Because, and the reason that they took the sign down was because it wasn't approved by the HDRB. So,
Thanks for leaning on us for that.
I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah,
but, yes. The issue is that, we've got one building inspector. I think he doesn't have any assistants, does he, Greg?
No, he does, Phillipstown, Nelsonville, and
yeah, he's busy.
He's got his.
But do we ask, I mean, this Main Street building, do we just,
Well, I think that we should, raise the issue and maybe, if, I've already got one thing, I can, make a phone call to him and just bring it to his attention that, this is something which, we would like for him to pay attention to. I'm not gonna hold my breath.
Main Street now too.
Yeah, he
owns,
does.
like, the woman who.
He owns
did
next
the
door.
coffee shop. And next door, doesn't he own, like,
next,
two-
yeah,
Yeah,
That's so
Um,
odd that he owns this project, which has come through us and been. well
oh,
done,
it is,
right?
it's
The
the
tea-
same guys
tea
that,
shop?
it's the same, right? Yeah.
If they're doing that so thoroughly, I
and they
wonder.
made a major, I mean, granted, yes, that was, anyways, whatever. Do we ask Greg to refer him to us, for that building that's now already been done up the road, or?
You have a permit for interior work and you're doing exterior work. Period, that's.
Are you talking about next door?
No, I'm talking about up there.
Oh, up there,
the
yeah.
old one.
I mean, not that it makes a difference, but I would not disapprove anything that they've done. So, I mean, it would almost be a formality, but like,
Would be actually helpful.
I think it should, yeah, like, yeah,
You think so?
I'm not-
oh, so he
yeah,
has. My 2 cents for what I see sitting here is, Main Street is shrinking as far as ownership goes.
yeah,
You have, one person owns 8 buildings, you have this guy now own 2, people are buying up buildings. So if you give him a stop work here, or you send Greg here, then he sends the message, you can't do that. So as he looks to pursue other buildings, do other things, he knows.
yeah.
what the-
And then I think at the end of the day, like, when he sits down with us and we're like, thank you for restoring like the facade of this building, but here are the steps that should have been taken. And we're also happy that you are investing in the building and making it beautiful and bringing it back to how it should be historically, but like, this is the
Yeah.
procedure. That's all.
Fair, yeah. For-
I've been down this road before.
Yeah.
I.
Well, listen,
not-
he could go and put all these windows in, and what are we gonna do? We're gonna go and he's gonna get whatever he's gonna get, and that's the end of it, so hopefully
Well,
he doesn't do that.
and
But what
I'll
are we
tell
here for
I'll
otherwise,
tell
right?
you something, even. A lot of the non-compliant stuff, the stuff that we would have never approved that in fact got installed. Was because they did it during the day. During the day, the people who were the building inspectors were not around because they were working, it's a part-time job. And so there was nobody there to enforce, the fact that the guy was doing work without a permit.
There's there's a lot of reasons that people do what they do and get away with. Some people get away with it and some people don't. I'm glad that he just came before us, but it sucks for him, but he was also told not to do that. But he
Well,
also could now go and do it anyways, like, all we
Okay,
can do is.
And the thing to remember is that, the mayor went and, replaced the light fixtures at the dock. Even though, without telling us anything about it.
Can we do minutes next time?
The current mayor.
Yes.
So it's really standard.
Yeah.
Who was a signatory to the standards. So anyways, but we'll move on. Okay. Put off the minutes until
Next
Next-
meeting.
next meeting. Our brains are fried.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, public comment? Okay, thank you.
But we're good, the window worksheet, those, yeah, I think that's like so helpful, because that is a difficult one for people. Oh. Make a motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Yes,
All in favor? Aye.
Yeah, if you recycle, oh, there's the.
Yeah, right out.
I just wanna, I kinda want.